Take a slow, gentle breath, and let your shoulders relax. Tonight, we are going to drift into a quiet, golden world, a world where tiny wings hum softly in warm sunlight, where flowers sway in the breeze, and where honey, one of Earth's oldest treasures, is made with patient devotion. As you settle into a comfortable position, allow your mind to wander into the peaceful rhythm of nature. Imagine the warm glow of late afternoon, the hush of a meadow drifting toward evening, and the calm, unhurried lives of the honeybees who spend their days crafting sweetness. This will be a gentle story, not a documentary, not a lesson, simply a quiet, comforting tale about how honeybees live, work, and create their golden nectar. A small history of nature, told softly, to help you feel safe, relaxed, and ready to drift toward sleep. Before we enter the hive, let us begin outside, in the soft embrace of nature. Imagine a wide meadow, stretching peacefully under a sky painted in pale orange and lavender. The day is winding down, and the warmth of sunlight is fading into something softer, gentler. A slow breeze glides over the tall grasses, carrying the faint sweetness of blooming flowers. The meadow is calm, except for the softest whisper of wings, bees making their final journey home. Honeybees, despite their tiny size, live with an elegance that humans have admired for thousands of years. In ancient temples, carved into stone, in old manuscripts written by candlelight, bees were celebrated for their order, their industry, and the silky honey that has nourished people across centuries. But tonight we are not studying them. We are simply walking beside them, slowly, as though we are travelers moving through a very gentle dream. The bees that drift overhead are returning from their long day of collecting nectar, the sweet, watery liquid hidden in flowers. They float through the air as the sky dims, drawn toward the entrance of their home, a hive that glows warmly, as though holding a tiny piece of sunlight inside. As we step closer to the hive, try to notice how calm everything feels. Honeybees are often misunderstood. People imagine them buzzing frantically or darting sharply through the air. But in truth, when they are at peace, their movements are like tiny drifting lanterns. The hive itself is a masterpiece. If you've ever held a piece of beeswax in your hand, you know its warm, comforting scent, a scent that feels ancient, like the inside of an old library or a wooden chest that has traveled through generations. Inside, the hive is organized with surprising harmony. Every bee has a role, and every role supports the life of the colony. You might think of it as a quiet little city, one that never rushes, never panics, and simply moves at its own patient pace. At the heart of this city is the queen. But unlike human royalty, she does not command or control. Her presence is gentle and constant, like a soft heartbeat that the rest of the hive can feel. Around her are the workers, the bees who gather nectar, tend to the young, build wax comb, and maintain the hive's perfect order. Tonight we will follow one of those workers. A single bee drifting into the hive at dusk, her tiny body dusted with pollen, her stomach holding a few drops of nectar collected from the meadow. She lands softly at the hive's entrance, shakes her little wings, and steps into the warmth. When the bee enters the hive, the air changes. Outside, the breeze carried the scents of grass and flowers. Inside, the hive smells of honey, warm wax, and something almost like vanilla. The interior glows softly, lit not by flame or electricity, but by the natural warmth of thousands of bees living close together. The hum is low and steady, like a lullaby sung in one unbroken note. Our worker bee makes her way inward, her tiny feet tapping gently against the wax floor. Here, in the hive's quiet core, we can finally see something extraordinary. The honeycomb. Perfect rows of hexagons, each one shaped with surprising precision, formed entirely from beeswax. Humans have tried for centuries to copy this structure. The hexagon is so efficient, so strong, so elegant, and yet no design has ever truly matched the beauty of the natural honeycomb. Ancient mathematicians studied it. Ancient poets praised it. Ancient healers used its honey as medicine. But in this moment, we are not thinking about history. We are simply watching a bee come home. She gently transfers her nectar to a young nurse bee, who receives it carefully, the same way one might accept a small cup of warm tea. This is how honey begins. Not in a rush. Not with force. But through tiny acts of sharing. Nectar is not yet honey. It begins as a thin, watery liquid collected from the very heart of flowers. But inside the hive, it slowly transforms into the thick, golden sweetness we know. The nurse bee who received the nectar begins the first step. She gently turns the liquid inside her tiny honey stomach, a special little organ meant solely for honey making. Here, natural enzymes break the nectar down, softening it, preparing it, turning it from a fragile, perishable liquid into something that can last for years. When she is finished, she places a small droplet into the honeycomb. Other bees arrive. They line up beside her like peaceful workers in an ancient workshop. Their wings begin to move, not to fly, but to fan the air. A soft, steady fanning. This gentle breeze evaporates the extra water from the nectar, slowly thickening it. It can take hours, sometimes days, but bees are patient creatures. In their quiet world, time does not rush. Time simply moves. And as it moves, nectar becomes honey. Finally, when the honey has reached the perfect thickness, the bees close the cell with a tiny wax seal. They tuck it away the way humans might store jars for winter. Little by little, one droplet at a time, honey begins to fill the hive. Honey has been part of human history for thousands of years. Ancient Egyptians placed jars of honey in royal tombs. Some of that honey, sealed away in the desert heat, remains edible even today. Greek philosophers wrote about bees as symbols of wisdom and harmony. In medieval Europe, honey was used not only as food but as medicine. People believed it could heal wounds, soothe sore throats, and strengthen the body. Even today, honey remains one of the few foods that never spoils. And all this history, this sweetness, this healing, begins with a single droplet carried home by a single bee. When you imagine thousands of bees working together, patiently, gently, it becomes clear why honey has always felt like such a special gift. It is the result of kindness, cooperation, and quiet, daily devotion. Inside the hive, night settles. Bees do not sleep the way humans do, but they rest in their own way. Some pause their movements, sitting quietly inside wax cells. Others simply lower their activity, humming in a soft, rhythmic way that feels almost like deep breathing. The hive grows cooler. The lights dim. The workers, tired from their day of travel, settle into a peaceful calm. If you listen closely, the hum becomes softer, slower, a gentle ocean of sound. Our little worker bee, the one we followed home, finally rests too. Her wings fold neatly at her sides. She tucks herself between layers of wax, close to the warmth of her sisters. She has added just a few drops of nectar today. But that is enough. Every drop matters. Every drop becomes part of the hive's golden treasure. As the hive settles into quiet, you may feel yourself settling too. The gentle rhythm of the bees, the warm light of the honeycomb, the patient work of tiny wings, all blend into a calm, drifting feeling. You have walked through meadows. You have followed a bee home. You have watched nectar become honey. And slowly, softly, your mind can begin to unwind. Let the quiet hum of the hive wrap around you like a warm blanket. Let the soft glow of honeycomb fill your thoughts with golden calm. Let the steady rhythm of nature guide you peacefully toward rest. Feel your breath slow. Feel your thoughts loosen. And allow yourself to drift into sleep.